Hello and welcome to day 6 of our 8-day arm balance journey. Today we are practicing to our flying splits arm balance. So we're going to go through a nice kind of warm-up sequence here to integrate everything that we've already done so far during this 8-day journey, from the hands to the shoulders to the core, everything getting mobilized, getting activated so that we're ready for our arm balance practice today. Now, our flying split is a combination of our chaturanga pose and, as you might have guessed, a kind of split shape with the legs. So for this practice, to kind of help us out, we're going to be using 2 blocks and a blanket. I do encourage that you practice this on a hardwood floor if you can, so that your blanket can slide. If you only have carpeting, you can use something like a paper plate that will slide along the carpet as well. So when you're all ready to go, let's get started in a comfortable seated position. So making your way to your nice comfy seat, let's lift up tall through the spine, drop the shoulders back, relax the arms. If it feels safe and comfortable for you, you can close your eyes. Otherwise, eyes open, nice soft gaze in front of you. As you arrive on your yoga mat here today, giving yourself a moment to fully be with your breath, letting yourself be fascinated by this ebb and flow of each inhale and exhale. As you breathe in, feeling that air passing through the nose, down through your sternum, into your belly. As you exhale, feeling that breath move out through the torso, out through the nose. Following your breath in this way, in and out. Letting each round of your breath bring you more deeply into this present moment, more deeply into this awareness of your body. Finding that your breath can help you stay centered and focused in any moment of your day on or off your yoga mat. For now, let's enjoy 3 more rounds of breath in stillness. For this last breath all together, let's inhale through the nose. As you exhale, open your mouth, sigh it out. When you're ready, eyes might stay closed or you can flutter them open. Keeping the arms relaxed by your sides, spine nice and tall. Begin to drop your chin towards your chest and then gently roll the head side to side. So slowly, gently moving through the neck. Either taking the head side to side in this little rainbow shape, or taking this into full circles, dropping the head back, and then bringing your chin towards your chest. Just taking some small quiet moments here as we start our practice to really wake up the body, to get reacquainted with yourself here today, however you may be feeling, whatever you may have brought with you onto the mat. And then eventually bringing your head back into stillness, gazes straight forward once again. Taking that movement now up into your shoulders, rolling your shoulders up, back, and down. And you can make this movement as subtle or as dramatic as you'd like here today. Perhaps letting the elbows lift up, maybe even creating nice big circles with the arms. Again, really just waking things up here, noticing how you're feeling around the shoulders, the upper back. Gorgeous. And when you're ready, we're going to take that movement down from the shoulders into the wrists, relaxing the elbows as you start to roll through your wrists. Maybe moving through the fingers a little bit here as well. Getting things ready to go before we start into our arm balancing practice here today. As you know, lots for the hands, the shoulders to do. So when you're ready here, we're going to take this onto our hands and knees, finding our tabletop position, planting down through your hands, clawing through the fingertips, pushing through the knuckles. Feel this lifting up through the armpits as you find your nice long spine. Now really clawing through the fingertips, starting to bring those middle knuckles away from the floor. Take an inhale, lift your palms all the way up till you come to the tips of your fingers. And then exhale, slide it down. Inhale, lift to the tips. And exhale, lower to your palms. A few more times. Inhale, lifting up, get light. Exhale, sliding down. Inhale to the fingertips. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. This time, inhale, lift onto the fingertips. Stay there. Really push the tips of your fingers. Bend the knuckles here. So we're not hyperextending through the knuckles of the fingers. We're keeping a bend or keeping some buoyancy. Now from here, as best you can, bring some weight over the hands. Hug the upper arms in. And as you inhale, lift your heart, draw your shoulders back for your cow pose. Exhale, round your spine for your cat. Keep it going. Inhale to your cow. Keep lifting through the wrists, through the armpits. Exhale for your cat. 3 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Twice more at your own pace. Staying up on the fingertips as best you can, but of course, if you need to, dropping the palms. Last round here as you inhale, spread open through the chest, and exhale, round. Inhale to your neutral spine, come back onto your palms. Open your knees nice and wide, let your big toes come together behind you, and sit your hips back to your child's pose. Lovely, melting your forehead down. Feeling that sweet stretch through the back and hips here. And once again, let's lift the heels of the hands away from the mat, coming onto the fingertips, walking your hands as far forward as you can while keeping your hips heavy. And start to walk those arms over towards the right edge of your mat, feeling a stretch through your left side waist. Gently pushing through your fingertips, settling back into the hips. Taking a breath in and breath out. Inhaling your arms back through center. Feel length through your sides. And exhale, hands walk over to the left until you feel a stretch through your right side waist. Keeping the body heavy here to really sink into that stretch as you take another breath in and breath out. Arms coming back through center. Gently releasing the palms down, lengthen forward through the fingertips. Take an inhale and exhale. Inhaling up through hands and knees. Let's walk the knees back in line with the hips, but slightly behind, so you're in your kneeling plank position. Find the foundations of your hands, pushing up away from the floor. Gaze is slightly forward, shoulders draw back as you inhale. Exhale to lower halfway down, little chaturanga push-up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 3 more. Inhale, push up. Hug the navel in as you exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, push up. Exhale, lower and hover. Just one more. Inhale, push up. This time, exhale, lower down, hover, hug the elbows in, hug, hug, hug. Inhale. Exhale, release. Beautiful job. Keep the elbows in, slide your hands back towards your bottom ribs. With an inhale, lift your chest to baby cobra. Exhale, melt your heart down. 2 more here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift your heart, rolling your shoulders back. Exhale, lower your chest to the mat. Inhale, pressing up through that kneeling plank position, tucking your toes behind you. Exhale, send your hips back and up, finding your downward facing dog. If it feels good, take a little movement here as you find your down dog. Perhaps pedaling your heels, wiggling your hips, maybe even nodding your head yes, shaking it out no a couple times. Eventually landing yourself in your downward facing dog, planting through the hands and feet, lifting through the pelvis. Taking an inhale here and exhale. With your inhale, bend your knees, lift your heels. As you exhale, take a walk to the top of your mat, feet coming up to meet your hands. Relaxing down into your forward fold as the knees stay bent, the upper body hangs heavy. Perhaps even gently grabbing opposite elbows and finding a little sway side to side. Checking in with the hips, the hammies, the low back. As you take another inhale right here. And exhale. Bringing your hands to your hips, take an inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Take your time. Arriving in your mountain pose at the top of your mat. Let's move through 3 rounds of our sun salutation A, really warming up the body and coming back to our good friend chaturanga. So from the top of your mat, take an inhale, rise your arms. As you exhale, fold forward, come on down. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting your palms, step back to your plank. Inhale to prepare, feel all your muscles firing up here. Exhale, lower halfway chaturanga. Inhale, lift your heart, cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Hold here for a breath in and breath out. Inhaling to bend your knees, look forward. Take a walk or a couple nice big steps to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise to standing, arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Again with your breath, inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold, planting your palms, stepping to plank. With your inhale, bring your weight forward, look forward. Exhale, elbows in, chaturanga. Inhale, lift your heart, back bend of choice. Exhale, lifting your hips, downward facing dog. Claw through the fingertips, lift through the armpits, inhale. And exhale. Inhale to bend your knees, look to your thumbs. Exhale, walk, step, or lightly hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, reaching up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Final time, following the pace of your breath. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to your plank. With your inhale, shift your weight forward. Exhale, chaturanga, shoulders back and down. Inhale into your back bend. And exhale to downward facing dog. Take a breath in and breath out. Inhaling to bend your knees, look forward. This time, exhale, step or hop through to seated on your mat. Beautiful. We'll all meet on our booties, seated at the middle of your mat, with the legs stretched out nice and long in front of you. Sitting up onto your sits bones, palms planted to either side of your hips, maybe blocks under your hands. Rolling your shoulders back, sit up nice and tall, and really engage the core here. Elevator doors hugging into the navel, navel hugging into the spine. Take an inhale, lift your right leg any amount off the floor. And as you exhale, lower that right leg with control. This time, inhaling, left leg will lift. And exhale to lower. Again, inhale, right leg lifts. Keep the spine tall. Exhale, lower. Inhale, squeeze and lift. Exhale, lower. One more time each side. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg. And exhale to lower. Beautiful. Hands come to the backs of the thighs. Bend both knees, plant the soles of your feet. Inhale, nice and tall, shoulders back. Exhale, start to lean back until you feel your navel hug in, finding your C curve through the spine. Then one leg lifts, other leg comes to join, finding your boat pose here. Lovely. Navel continues to hug in as the shoulders draw back. Hands can stay at the backs of your thighs or perhaps reach forward towards the feet. Now, if you'd like to add on here, lean back a little bit more, start to straighten through the legs. Feel all that activation around the hip flexors, the quads. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, draw it in, and let's rock over onto hands and knees. Beautifully done. When you're ready, tuck your toes, lift your hips. Let's come back to our downward facing dog. Take a little movement if that feels nice. Notice how you feel. When you're ready, we're gonna get flowing. As you inhale, sweep that right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, shift forward, right knee to right elbow. Good. Inhale, sweep it back, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Last one, inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. This time, step your right foot in between your hands. You got it. Back knee lowers down to a low lunge, hands framing your foot. Option for blocks underneath your hand. Now as you inhale, drop your hips, lift your heart. With your exhale, rock your hips back. Find a little hamstring stretch. Inhale forward to your lunge. And exhale back to your half split. 3 more times. Inhale, waken up the hips. And exhale. With your breath, inhaling to your lunge. Exhaling to that half split. Last round here as you inhale. And exhale. Inhaling forward to your low lunge, this time rooting through the right foot, rooting down through the left hand. Take an inhale, sweep your right arm open into a twist. Exhale, hug your shoulder blades together on your back. Option to stay right here or add on by tucking your left toes, lifting the left knee, finding power through that back leg. Take another inhale in your twist wherever you choose to be. As you exhale, gently unwind. Right hand comes back to frame the right foot. Now, if you're not already there, lifting the back knee, take an inhale. With your exhale, lift your hips, start to straighten through that right leg. Option for blocks under the hands to get a little more length as you inhale here. With your exhale, melt over that right thigh, pyramid pose. Now please step your left foot up a little bit closer to the top of your mat until you can ground that left heel onto the floor. Doesn't matter if the knees are bent here a little or a lot, whatever feels best to really get that stretch through the legs and the hips. Let's take another breath in here and breath out. Now starting to turn your left toes out. Left toes will face the long edge of your mat. Heel turns to face the right edge of your mat. Setting up for our triangle pose as we inhale and rise all the way up to standing, arms to a T. Take another inhale here to kick the hips back, reach the right arm forward. And exhale, lower down, right hand to your leg, left arm to the sky. So feeling this really sweet stretch through the inner line of that right leg as you anchor your feet down into the mat. And seeing if you can draw that left shoulder back, perhaps even bringing that left arm behind you slightly as you really twist open through the chest in our triangle pose today. Beautiful. Find your breath here as we take another inhale and exhale. Inhaling to lift back up nice and tall. Now turning the right toes to face the long edge of the mat as well. Hands drop to your hips. Take an inhale here. Exhale, soften your knees and fold forward. As you fold down between the legs, perhaps your hands drop down onto blocks. Perhaps you grab onto the ankles or shins. Feeling into that stretch through the hips, the backs of the legs, as you let the upper body really melt down here. We'll stay for about 3 rounds of breath here. If it feels nice, you can even bring in a little bit of movement, maybe a little sway side to side through the upper body, maybe a little lean side to side through the legs. Let's take another inhale here and exhale. Bringing your hands right underneath your nose. Inhale for a little halfway lift action, bending the knees. Exhale to walk your hands to the top of your mat. Turn your toes until you find your lunge. Beautiful, planting your palms, step back into your downward facing dog. Now, if you'd like, you can take a moment here to move through your vinyasa, shifting forward into your plank, taking that chaturanga combo. Or if you kind of want to save your arms for the arm balance, you can stay right here for today, hanging out in your downward facing dog. Go where you feel you need to go in your practice today. You know best. Let's take another inhale. And exhale to all meet in that downward facing dog. Now inhale, sweep your left leg up and back behind you. As you exhale, shift forward, left knee, left elbow, hug it in. Good, inhale, sweeping back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. One more time, really feeling the core here as you inhale, sweep back. Exhale, knee to elbow, this time stepping your left foot up in between your hands. Beautiful. Back knee gently lowers down, setting up for your low lunge. Again, perhaps blocks come into the picture, giving you a little bit more support. Inhale to drop your hips, lift your chest. As you exhale, rock your hips back. Feel that length through the left leg. Then moving with your breath, inhale forward and exhale back. 3 more times on your own, you know what to do. This is one of my favorite movements for really waking up the hips and really just in general. Feels really good to bring this into my yoga practice. So hopefully this feels good for you today too. We've got one more round here. And as you inhale forward into your lunge, once again, please stay. And this is where we'll meet in our low lunge. Rooting down through that left foot, rooting through the right hand. Let's inhale to sweep the left arm open to a twist. Feeling that wingspan stretching across the chest. And then if you'd like here, tucking the back toes, lifting that right knee, really feeling that squeeze and lift at the lower glute. And let's take another inhale, twisting open. As you exhale, gently unwind, hands frame the left foot, lifting your back knee if it's not already there. Now take an inhale here in your lunge. With your exhale, lift your hips, begin to lengthen through that left leg. Looking for that length through the spine as you inhale. As you exhale, keep reaching nose to toes, but start to fold over the left thigh. So again, you can bring your blocks here underneath the hands if that feels nice to help you really get that length through the leg. And when you're ready, begin to step your right foot forward until you can ground the right heel, finding a bit of a shorter stance in our pyramid pose. Feeling into the sensation for the hips, for that left hamstring, without any pain, strain, pinching going on in the body. And let's take another inhale here. And exhale. Beautiful. Setting that right foot up now for our triangle prep. So turning your right toes out, lining up that left heel with the arch of your right foot. Push down as you inhale, lift up to standing. Arms come out wide. Take another breath in here as you kick your hips back, reach your left arm forward. Exhale, soften the left knee and drop your left hand down. Right arm to the sky for now. Again, finding your wingspan as you stretch open. Lengthening through the legs, through the spine. And taking your gaze wherever it feels most comfortable for your neck here. Now, just like we did on the other side, you might experiment with drawing your right shoulder back, kind of leaning back into this pose, right fingertips coming behind you. Notice how that feels. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, you can bring that right hand back to center. Wherever you are, we have another inhale and exhale. Inhaling up through center, take your time as you rise. Exhale, turn all 10 toes to that long edge of your mat. Hands to hips, take an inhale here. Exhale, begin to fold forward in between your legs. Hands dropping down as you arrive in your fold. This time I invite you to reach your arms forward, coming up onto your fingertips once again. Feeling the hips lengthen back as you walk your fingertips forward. Now really push down through your feet, soften through your knees. Take an inhale right here. As you exhale, bend into your left knee and sweep your arms to the side. Coming back through center with an inhale, and as you exhale, bend the other knee, sweep your arms in the other direction. Inhale through center. Exhale, bend your knee, come to the side. Inhale through center. And exhale to the other side. Keep that going at your own pace. Sweeping your hands along the ground as if you're moving sand from side to side. Visiting the right foot, then visiting the left. Beautiful. One more time to each side. And this time as you come over to your left knee, turning to face the top of your mat, coming back into your lunge. Planting your palms, step it back into your downward facing dog. Again, you have the option to come forward, take that chaturanga flow if you want it, or stay in your downward facing dog. There's no right, no wrong. You have the choice, whatever your body needs right now. And eventually we'll all meet back in that downward facing dog. Let's enjoy an inhale here and let it out. Then with an inhale, sweep your right leg back behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. You know what to do. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to elbow. Nice strong arms as you inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. This time stepping your foot to the outer edge of your right hand. Gently lowering that left knee down. We're setting up for our lizard lunge. So if it feels good, you can kind of noodle through your hips a little bit here. Settle yourself down into this lunge. Looking for a little extra stretch through that front hip, as well as our usual lunge stretch through that back hip flexor. So we're going to stay for a few breaths here as we kind of get used to this shape for today. If you'd like, you can grab one or both of your blocks, lower down onto your forearms, and find a slightly more rested position here. Now, for some of you, it might even feel comfortable without any pain to come down onto the mat, making sure that wherever you go for today, again, there's no pain, there's no strain, but you can really enjoy the stretch. So we have about 3 more rounds of breath here. Feeling the hips dropping down. A little bit of space through that right hip opening up. Let's take another inhale right here. And exhale completely. With your inhale, coming back up towards your hands if you're not already there, moving your blocks off to the side if you had them. And we're going to grab that blanket, bring it over to that right edge of your mat. So we're going to keep this lizard lunge shape, but now that right foot is going to move onto your blanket. Beautiful. Perhaps tucking your back toes here to give you a little bit more support, and perhaps bringing hands onto blocks if that feels nice to lift the earth up to you. Of course, the lower you are, the more you're going to feel that intensity in the hips. So it might be nice even just for now to try out the blocks. So right foot is on your blanket here, or if you're on carpet, on your paper plate. Pushing down through your heels specifically. Let's take an inhale here. As you exhale, start to lengthen through that right knee, pushing the blanket away from you. Inhale, pull that blanket back in. And then exhale, lengthen the leg out. Nice and simple here. Inhale, pull it in. Exhale, push it out. Let's do that a few more times. So as you lengthen the leg out, you're coming to this kind of diagonal split shape. Maybe the hips drop a little bit more as you do that. Maybe not. No biggie either way. We're really just looking for this sensation of lengthening out through that front leg and then the strength of pulling that heel back in. So let's try maybe one more here, pushing the blanket away and then pulling it in. Beautiful. As that right heel comes back in, let's sweep the right knee back to meet the left. Sit back to a child's pose for just a moment. Giving yourself a little bit of a break here, really noticing how you feel in the hips. I know for me, my right hip feels totally different than my left right now. You might be feeling a similar asymmetry at the moment. Now we're going to take that and we're going to move it into our flying split shape. So when you're ready, please come up onto hands and knees or find a seated position. We're going to bring our blocks to the top of the mat, put them on their lowest setting. And we're going to move that blanket out of the way. You might even put it under your back knee if that feels nice. So, step one for today, if you want to stick with those slides that we just did, stay right there. Beautiful place to be. Step two, we're going to come back to our lizard lunge with that right foot planted nice and wide, hands to the inside. Blocks are going to be about shoulder width distance, fingertips right behind the blocks. Back knee is down, back toes are tucked here. Now we're going to start to integrate all of our kind of pieces of the puzzle into this arm balance. So if you remember our strong chaturanga arms, that is the base of this arm balance. And then our legs are what we just did when we slid the blanket out. That is going to be kind of our final shape. So if you'd like to watch me first and then get into it with me, feel free to do so. But let's try this out on the right side here. So again, I'm going to start with that back knee down. I'm going to start to walk that right foot away from me as if I was sliding it out on that diagonal. At the same time, I'm going to start to bend the elbows, lean the chest forward as if I'm coming into chaturanga. Now that left elbow is going to hug in towards your left hip. That right elbow is going to hug underneath your right thigh. So I'm going to keep walking that right leg out. Maybe today I lift it all the way off the floor. Maybe not. So you might play just with that today. You might bring the blocks to a position where it's, tall enough to meet your shoulders. That's going to be different for each one of us. So that as you start to come forward, as you start to walk that right leg out, you have your blocks to kind of catch you there. So that's step one, is playing with walking that right leg out, maybe lifting the leg up. Again, the arms here, we have our chaturanga arms with the elbows in. The right elbow is underneath the right thigh. The left elbow is plugging in right above your hip bone, okay? So that's step one, is getting that leg out. Step two is starting to integrate the back leg. So I'm going to move my blocks out of the way just so you can see everything that's going on. So planting down through the palms, that right leg is nice and wide. I'm going to kind of wiggle that right arm underneath the thigh. It might even help for you to walk your hand underneath and to the outer edge of your heel. So starting to bring my weight forward, I'm going to trust myself here, bringing my weight to my hands, walking that right leg out, maybe lifting it up. And then maybe I lift that back knee and look slightly forward towards that right foot. Beautiful. Come on down, take a rest when you're ready. So again, step one, lengthening that front leg. Step two, chaturanga. Trust yourself as you bring your weight forward. Step three, back knee lifts. Step four is going to be lifting that back leg completely. So if you want to try it out today, we're going to do that one more time. Remember to take breaks as you need them, okay? And know that you might not get these poses in one day. You also might have an experience on one side of the pose that's totally different from your experience on the other side. So let's try this out on the right side one more time, see what happens, and then we'll try it on the left. So starting from our lizard lunge, as usual, we're thinking about walking that right elbow underneath the right thigh, walking the right foot away, starting to find that length. So bending the elbows into those chaturanga arms, chest comes forward, gaze looks forward. Starting to lift that back knee as you lengthen through the front leg. Maybe the front heel can lift off the floor. And then maybe you can lean forward enough to lift that back foot off the floor as well. So I'm looking forward. My gaze is slightly to this side because I'm so close to the floor with my chest that my chin would bonk the ground. So you're looking forward and out, following the line of that right leg. So again, try that as many times as you'd like. When you need a break, sit back, roll out the wrists a little bit, and we'll get ready to do the other side in just a moment. Really well done. So when you are ready to move on, let's bring it back into our downward facing dog. Let's take a big breath in here and let it out. Awesome. Inhale, sweep your left leg back behind you. Exhale, knee to left elbow, hugging in. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to elbow. Just one more. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to elbow. This time, left foot to the outer edge of your left hand. Awesome. Back knee lowers down for your lizard lunge. And this is where we'll stay for the next few rounds of breath. If it feels good, wiggle around a little bit here. See how that feels for the hips. And then you choose where you want to go today. You can stay lifted. You can come down halfway onto a prop, or you can bring it all the way down onto your forearms. Now, last little note here before we really just sink into this. If you're feeling any complaints from that left knee, you can turn your left toes out to a slight diagonal, letting the hip open a little bit more. Always making the pose work for your body, not the other way around. Let's settle in for 3 more rounds of breath here. With your next natural inhale, slowly start to lift back up onto your hands if you're not already there. Grabbing your blanket, we're going to bring it underneath that left foot, keeping our lizard lunge shape the whole time here. Now remember, hands on blocks is a great place to be if you have those blocks available. Once again, we're going to push down through that left heel. Take your inhale here. As you exhale, start to push that blanket away from you, lengthening through the left leg. Then inhale, squeeze as you draw it back in. And exhale, push that blanket away from you. A few more times here. Inhale in and exhale away. So as I briefly mentioned on the other side, the sides of your body will be quite a different experience. So what you're feeling in this left leg might be different than what you are feeling in the right leg. And you might notice if that pose was really easy on the right side, it might not be as easy on this left side, or vice versa. It might be easier here on your left. So let's play around with it, see what we've got going on this side. Let's do just 2 more of these little blanket slides here. Getting a little bit more length through that left leg. Awesome. Bringing the heel back in, and when you're ready, left knee comes back to meet your right. Big toes come together. Send it back towards your child's pose. Awesome. Take a few breaths here. Getting ready to put everything together. So feeling that as we do those blanket slides there, we're looking not only for the stretch, the length through the leg, but we're also looking for some activation, for some engagement. So the whole body is firing up to help bring you into this arm balance here. So when you're ready to try it out, you can come on up out of your child's pose. I'm gonna move my blanket to the side. I'm gonna bring my blocks around, just in case I wanna use them here. Now, just like we did before, we're gonna try step by step. If you wanna stick with the blanket slides for today, beautiful place to be. If you'd like to go on, we're gonna come back to that lizard lunge. Blocks can be on the lowest setting, or I find I need the medium setting just so that they can be a little bit closer to me. Hands are gonna come behind the blocks, and we're gonna get ready for those chaturanga arms. Remember, right elbow is looking to plug in at your right hip. Left elbow is gonna support that left thigh. So let's start with that left leg. We're gonna take that same action of lengthening out to the diagonal that we did with our blanket, but now we're not gonna have the support of the blanket. So, starting to bring some weight forward towards your hands, I like to bend the elbows first, just to kind of get me ready, and hug the elbows in. Walking that left foot away from you, feeling that shelf of the left upper arm as you start to lengthen your leg out. And then maybe you lower down, maybe finding shoulders on the blocks. And then you can press back up, bring it back together, take a little rest. So remember, piece by piece here, this is not all or nothing. So we have that front leg reaching for that diagonal. We have the hands clawing down, the elbows hugging in, the shoulders really hugging into their sockets, giving us a lot of support. So now if you'd like to add on, we're gonna try lifting that back knee. So coming on to the hands once again, that left hand maybe even walking to the outside of the heel if that feels nice. Coming towards your chaturanga as you bring your weight forward into the hands. Walk that left leg away from you. Maybe lift the foot, looking forward and out. And then maybe lifting your back knee if you'd like. Feel that power through the back leg. You might even lift the entire right foot. Yeah, come down when you're ready. When you need a break, please roll out the wrists. And then I'm gonna try it here without any props. So again, if you wanna stick with just the front leg today, maybe keeping the blocks there for today, please stay there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. If you wanna try it out today without any props, go in for the full thing, here we go. Hands come down. Starting in that lizard lunge shape, setting up with that chaturanga position. Now that left leg is reaching for that diagonal. We're hugging the elbows in, we're supporting that left thigh. Maybe it walks all the way out, starts to lift up as I bring my weight forward onto my elbows. I'm looking forward as I let that back leg lift, trusting my weight to come forward into my hands. Nice, and then come down when you're ready. It does not have to be graceful. And take a moment to sit back, roll out the wrist, take a breather. Beautiful, beautiful job. So you have all these stepping stones here if you want to kind of build this pose from the ground up. Remember, these things take time. Some of these things might feel more natural for your body than others. You also might notice that as you get into more of these quote-unquote advanced postures, I don't really like that word, but it's convenient. But these more challenging postures, you might find that you improve a lot very quickly, and then you kind of hit a plateau. So if you notice yourself kind of finding that neutrality there, where you're not really going up, you're not really going back, that's totally normal. That's part of the practice, okay? Take a rest as long as you need here today. When you're ready, we're all gonna meet seated on the mat. Awesome. Stretching your legs forward, let's bend the knees, plant through the soles of the feet. And as you're ready, slowly roll yourself all the way down onto your back. As your back meets the mat, let's keep the knees bent, feet planted. Arms by your side, shoulders drawing back into the floor. Pushing down through the feet, through the upper arms. Take an inhale to rise your hips any amount and find your bridge pose. Now really think about pushing your upper arms down into the mat to help you lift your chest. Might even feel nice to grab the outer edges of your mat with your hands and actively pull the mat apart to roll your arms underneath you. Wherever you are here, let's take another inhale. With your exhale, slowly lower down to the mat. Please draw your right knee in towards your chest as you land. Take a moment to roll through that right ankle. Make some circles through the right hip. Slowing things down here as you gently replace your right foot onto the floor. Setting up for our bridge pose once again, arms down, feet planted. With an inhale, rise your hips any amount off the floor. Feeling this stretch all the way through the front line of your body. Maybe again pulling the mat apart with your hands, walking the arms underneath you. Or perhaps bringing your hands together beneath you, interlacing your fingers right there at your low back. Let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly lower it down. As your booty meets the mat, draw your left knee towards your chest, give it a little hug. Rolling through your ankle, circling through your left hip. And when the time feels right, bring your left foot back onto the floor. We've got one more round of our bridge pose here today. Drawing the shoulders back, anchoring through the feet. Take an inhale to rise your hips, lengthening your tailbone forward towards your heels. Taking whatever arm variation feels the most supportive for you here today. Gently pressing the back of your head towards the mat, the shoulder blades down into the mat. And taking another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly lower it down. Gorgeous. This time, let's walk the feet wide apart, right foot to the right, left foot to the left. And begin to windshield wiper your knees side to side. So bringing both knees over to one side of your mat, and then through center over to the other side. Feeling this gentle massaging of the hips, the sacrum, little release through the spine as well. Might even get a little snap, crackle, pop if you're lucky. And the next time that your knees drop over towards the right side of your mat, please pause there, settling yourself into a twist. So legs can stay just as they are in this kind of zigzag formation. If there's no complaint from your knees, you can even bring your right foot to the top of your left thigh, adding a little extra hip stretch there. Now, if this just doesn't feel great for your knees or your hips, no problemo. You can stack your left leg on top of your right instead and find your twist there. Wherever you choose to be, really melting the shoulder blades into the mat, keeping the chest open as you twist through the spine. We'll stay for 3 more rounds of breath here today. If you have your foot on your thigh, gently bring it back to the earth. All together, let's take an inhale to roll back through center, back onto your back. And exhale, dropping your knees to the left side of your mat, setting up for this twist on the other side. Now really listen to your body, especially your knees, to decide where you want to land in this twist. It does not have to be the same variation you took on the other side. So option 1, legs stay in this zigzag formation. Option 2, zigzag with that left foot on top of the right thigh. Option 3, right leg stacked on top of your left, stacking the hips. Wherever you choose to be, settling into stillness. Perhaps closing your eyes if you haven't already done so. And we'll stay for another 5 rounds of breath on this side. All together, let's enjoy another inhale here. And exhale completely, releasing your foot from your thigh if you had it there. With your inhale, come back through center, nice and slow. Feeling your body supported by the mat underneath you. And when you're ready, moving into your final resting pose, whatever that looks like for you today. Taking these last few minutes of your practice to really rest in your Shavasana. So as you settle into stillness, finding that position that's comfy cozy for your body today, I invite you to come back to your breath. Just like we did at the start of our practice, letting yourself watch this in and out, this rise and fall. Noticing how your breath moves, the pace, the rhythm of your breath. Watching with curiosity, without any judgment. Allowing each round of breath to draw you deeper and deeper into this place of relaxation. This place where you can really soak in everything that you did here on the mat today. And I'll leave you here to rest for as long as you're able to today. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Namaste. Be well.